Hello, Julie Chance with Action Strategies by Design. And in this video, I'm going to demo a new everything DiSC on Catalyst innovation that I'm really excited about, and I believe you will be as well. It's called Worksmart, and it is 5 one-hour modules designed for people leaders. So it is an add-on to an everything DiSC workplace profile or any everything DiSC profile on Catalyst. It's designed to be done as a follow-up to that initial session. However, they could also be done in a single session. They can be facilitated either virtually or in person. And they're really designed to help people managers navigate the challenges that they face every day within the flow of work. So the way it works is it's an add-on, as I said, to an everything DiSC profile on Catalyst. Once that content is unlocked, a participant would have this Discover Worksmart tile on their homepage of Catalyst. And these will actually be released. 2 of the 5 modules will be released on May 5th, and the additional 3 modules will all be released by July 31st. And during this rollout period, there's a special offer that I'll let you know about at the end. So once the content is unlocked, then the participant, the leader, would have the Discover Worksmart tile on the homepage of Catalyst. When they click on that, it would take them to the Worksmart page on Catalyst, where there's an action planning tool that leaders can go back into at any time and make do additional action plans for additional team members. The 5 modules are here. They're giving constructive feedback, managing conflict, empowering your team, helping your team navigate change, and motivating your team. 2 of those modules, as I said, including giving constructive feedback, will be released on May 5th. And these modules are facilitated from directly within Catalyst. I'm going to show you how that works in just a minute. And anybody who owns a Everything DiSC Catalyst Facilitator Kit, or really any Everything DiSC Facilitator Kit, because you can upgrade those kits to Catalyst at no charge, you will have the ability to download this facilitation material as each of these modules are released. And for those of you who are my clients, I will reach out to you and give you the instructions for doing that when it's available. So I'm going to demo the Giving Constructive Feedback one. That's the only one that's unlocked right now, and it's in pilot form. So there will likely be some changes to, at least some minor changes to the final version. So in a facilitation, what you would do as the facilitator is you would open up your Catalyst account, go here, and you would have each of the participants in your session do that as well. And then once you click on that, and all of these modules are going to be laid out in a similar way, even though the content's going to be different. So the first page is an overview of what's going to be covered in the module. Next, you have the opportunity to do a brief overview of the DiSC model if you want to do that. For some of these participants, it's going to be a while since they experience DiSC. And then there's a couple of questions for group discussion. One is, what makes feedback hard for you? And then the next one is ask participants to think about a time when they received or gave helpful feedback. And what was helpful, what made that effective. These are really designed to be group discussion questions, either in the live in-person setting or done virtually. Next, it talks about 4 elements of constructive feedback and how those relate to the DiSC model. So all 4 of these elements are necessary to give effective feedback. And as with most things, some come easier to some people than others, and it shows how these different elements relate to the DiSC model. It gives each person will have some personalized content about their superpower. My style's D, so my superpower when it comes to giving constructive feedback is being direct. And then it points out that then there's the opportunity for people in like style groups to do a breakout session and discuss their feedback superpower and answer some questions around that. And then it really points out that really more than the superpower is required to give effective feedback. So it looks at the 4 elements of effective feedback and gives a little bit more information about what that looks like. Then people have the opportunity to read a little bit of information for the styles that aren't their superpower, for the other 3 elements. In my case, that's encouraging, receptive, and objective, and gives some additional information on each of those. Then there's some discussion, again, a breakout group and discussion. Then the participants, the leaders, are asked to make a feedback plan, and they're asked to think about a specific colleague when they do that. If that colleague is in their DiSC organization, they can simply enter their name. If it's somebody who's not in their DiSC organization, maybe somebody who hasn't taken DiSC, then they can use this to guesstimate a colleague's style. I'm going to pick fast-paced and outspoken, and accepting and warm, which indicates somebody of the I style. And so it provides then information on understanding that colleague. It provides drop-down information on 4 different aspects of that person's approach or that person's characteristics of that person's style. And then it provides approaches to try. It asks you to pick 2. Obviously, this can be done over and over again, so somebody could pick different ones each time. So I'm just going to randomly pick these 2. And then when we go to the next screen, it provides information on the 2 that I picked and asks the individual to some questions to think through in terms of developing their action plan. And then ask them to come up with some ways and record some ways that they will hold themselves accountable. And then it asks them to think about something that they've learned and how they will use this in their day-to-day activities. And then talks about some information in terms of going forward and using this on an ongoing basis, and then returns them to that Worksmart homepage, and where there is again this action planning tool that they can go back for any of these topics and create an action plan over and over. So as I mentioned, so the way that this works is it's an add-on to the Everything DiSC profile on Catalyst. So once somebody has that, this content can be unlocked. It can be unlocked without them taking any additional assessments or doing anything additional. When everything's fully implemented, the cost for this will be 20 credits. During the rollout phase, there is going to be a 50% discount. So during the rollout, it will be available to add to participants' accounts for 10 credits. And so if you're interested in doing that, that's a great discount. If you're interested in doing that or in learning more about it, please reach out. I would welcome the opportunity to talk with you about it, to brainstorm how you might integrate this into your manager and leadership development training. So I look forward to talking with you and looking at how you might use this further.